Well, 1981, I was coaching, my first year coaching with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and we had an annual father and son breakfast at St. Stephen's Church in Sewickley, and the minister there said, "I have someone in this congregation you really ought to meet."
My pastor told me that I needed to meet this special guy that had visited and spoke at our church, and I was excited, but I was also very nervous because I wasn't into sports, and my idea of a man to date and to have a relationship with was not an athlete. So I was intrigued to meet the guy who loved the Lord so much, but I was also trying to get my excuse together why we weren't going to have an ongoing relationship. Well, Tony and I have been married 31 years, so that's 3 decades of being together. We've had a lot of blessings, we've experienced a lot of great things in our marriage. We've also experienced some challenges as well. And we couldn't have done this without the Lord's hand, without the Lord being in the center of our lives. So we wanted to share our lessons, our experiences with other people so that they could be blessed, that they could be encouraged by what we've experienced.
And we've been involved in a couples Bible study for the last 4 or 5 years, and questions about raising kids and parenting and marriage and relationships, they would always come up, would always turn back to the Bible for references, but we just thought it would be nice to share some of the things that we've learned along the way with other people and help encourage them in their marriage. So it was a fun project to work on. Well, in putting the book together, we didn't know how we could tell the story with both of us being there and get it from both people's perspectives. So we decided to do that, to share the voice. Lauren would tell a part, I would tell a part. Sometimes we'd tell the same story twice, but most of the time it's from either one of our perspectives. And we just thought that would be great for people to be able to see that husband and wife don't always see things exactly the same. Things impact them differently. What was going on, what happened when this happened, how it impacted me, how it impacted Lauren. We thought that would really be helpful.
Well, I think it's important in any relationship that husband and wife, they hear each other and that they communicate well. And we didn't always communicate well with each other. And those problems, those issues surface in many areas of our life. And as we learned over the years, we learned to understand each other and the importance of talking not at each other, but to each other, and the importance of praying together. All those things came out, and it was such a valuable lesson, and we wanted to share. We wanted to be transparent with our lives and share our story with the readers so they could be blessed by it. I think it's so easy. Early in the marriage, you are in love with each other. Your spouse cannot do anything wrong. He's just wonderful. But along the way, you have so many challenges and distractions with work, children, just day-to-day things. And if you're not intentional about the relationship, you can just grow apart. And we really wanted to share some of those things that happen in our life that we had to work at to keep that marriage and to keep the fire burning and to keep the love going in our marriage.
I think keeping the love and the tenderness and the relationship part of it, it is very much like a football game. You start out, the opening kickoff, you've got a lot of emotion, a lot of energy, you feel good, you think you're going to win the game, so everything feels right. Now you play 3 quarters, you get into the 4th quarter, and it is work now. It's rough, it's tough, and you have to think back about your goals and think back about the 1st quarter and where that excitement was. And you have to make a conscious effort to keep that there over the years. That's the secret to marriage. Well, that's another reason we wanted to write the book. Many people look at us and see all the great things, and we had a ton of them. And, you know, Super Bowls and great experiences and a lot of fun, great relationships. But there are also things that everybody else experiences. Changing jobs, having to move, health issues, all of those things that come into play, and for us being in the public eye and having your life play out in the public eye, that can become an obstacle. And we had to lean on each other and to learn to trust the Lord to go through some of those. And we wanted to share that, again, to let people know there are ways to get through. There are tough things that we had to fight through, but putting our focus on the Lord allowed us to do that.
What was important, we found in our relationship, that we had to begin each day with our Bible study, our quiet time together. And that kind of set the day for us because we prayed, we read, and we communicated with one another. We shared what was on our hearts with one another. And then he was out the door, and as you said, long days and away from home, away from the children. We were intentional about communicating while he was away so that when he came back, it wasn't walking into, well, geez, what's happening? It's 12 hours since I've been away. But we tried having dates or times when we'd stop by the stadium and we'd have lunch with Tony or just talking on the phone. But it was important to keep him abreast what was going on so that when he came home and assumed the role as dad, father, that it wasn't so difficult to do. He knew what was happening in the household.
And I think Lauren talked about communication being so important. It is in times of those obstacles and problems, but we almost found it's more important in the good times, in the successful times. Right. That's when it's easy to just put it on cruise control, think that everything's going great. And we found that if we didn't talk to each other and talk to the Lord during those great times, we'd have a tendency to see things self-destruct.
Right. Well, we have a lot of fun. We've got a very active, energetic household. We have 6 children at home, ages 13 all the way down to under a year of age. So we've got the teenagers and in between, and then, of course, the babies. And never a dull moment. We enjoy our kids. 5 boys and 1 girl under the roof. They keep us busy.
We do have some young athletes, and then we've got part of our older crew. We've got a 22-year-old who's finishing up at University of Oregon, and then our oldest daughter is working for Comcast now, and she's out on her own. So Lauren has to kind of balance that. She's mothering these adult children who have different issues, and then coming home and talking to the young kids who maybe struck out in T-ball. You know? So you have, she always says, little people, little problems.
And we've also found that parenting doesn't end at 18. We have 2 in their 20s, and it continues on. But they're a joy and a blessing.
Well, in our book, Uncommon Marriage, there's a lot of stories, and in the end, there are core principles and core values that come right out of the Bible. But we thought being able to put it together for a Bible study group, because that's really where the idea came from our couples Bible study, to be able to take 5 weeks or 5 sessions, however you wanted to do it, and break it down. Here's 5 things that we can learn about communicating, about putting the Lord first, about growing as a Christian couple. So you can do it individually, you can do it as a large study group, but we're excited. We feel like you know, God is using us to help people study about marriage.
We found it's very, very important to have the Lord in your life and to study on a daily basis and not reach out for the Bible in a time of crisis, but to have that Bible and to study for wisdom and knowledge on a daily basis, and to be able to apply the scriptures to your lives and everything that you're doing. And as Tony said in the book, the Bible study, we have core principles that you can use in your life for just anything, parenting, relationships, your career. It's very important to have that. And we think that it will bless the readers immensely.